Today on the Fairy BOSSmother show, I'm meeting Ajeyhia Brown, a virtual assistant from Sweet Breeze. I will call you the Play-Doh of businesses who has quit the rat race to start her own business.
So if I don't really want to work for other people,
Ajeyhia has been working with a business coach who recently got her started on Instagram.
I've been working with a business coach who's for these past, I'll say, 5 months.
But still has 0 clients.
Some of the things that she's done that has worked for her, it's not working for me so much.
Ajey is now looking for help to get her brand reviewed.
You want to know the truth? I can literally learn how to do anything.
So that she can get her business on track and close those dangerous marketing gaps that is keeping her stuck.
I want basically more input where it's like another outside force comes in, takes a look at my business, tell me what's good and what isn't good.
I'm Talyn, and my job as your personal brand expert is to give small business owners no sugarcoating, just real talk feedback on your brand. You are not serving them, because without you, they will not get out of bed because they're stupidly overwhelmed, and uncover the opportunities that they are missing by not having a personal brand. Just by the very nature of just being called a virtual assistant, you're undervaluing your very own value and how to position themselves as the expert in their fields. Gotta level you up, girl. Let's meet Ajeyhia Brown. Now, before I meet Ajeyhia, I asked her some basic questions about her business. So let's see what her feedback is. Okay, so Ajeyhia's business is called Sweet Breeze VA. Wow, the girl has no website. That is very interesting. It looks like she's put all her eggs in the Instagram basket and doesn't really have a home to direct people to. I'm going to be curious to see why she made that decision. When I asked her what her business is all about and who she serves, Ajeyhia has said, I am a virtual assistant who works with the BIPOC women of color coaches who run online coaching businesses. I help them streamline their businesses as well as help alleviate the stresses of their day-to-day operations. Okay, so very functional VA task, but I get the feeling that she's going to run into a problem of being seen as someone below the CEO or the founder of a business, which means that she's not going to get the respect that she deserves, and she's not going to be able to charge premium rates because of the way she talks about herself. Now, just calling herself a virtual assistant is going to be a problem. And then her target audience, even though she's probably going to think that BIPOC women of color is niche, it really isn't. When I asked her, what are your main goals for your business right now? She said, my main goal for my business right now is to find 4 ideal clients and be completely booked by April 2025. So on the time of recording, it is February 2025, and she expects to be fully booked with 4 clients. That means she probably is charging around about $1,000, maybe $2,000 per month for each client. If that's not the case, she's going to have a very hard time maintaining whatever lifestyle she has created for her without running into burnout mode. Also, a deadline of April 2025 is not very realistic. So I'm wondering how she thinks of her own timelines and deadlines. When I asked her, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? She said, the challenge I am currently facing is finding my ideal clients and finding better ways to market to people and generate more leads. I get the feeling the reason why she's having such a hard time, because she can find women of color all over Instagram, but I think it's going to be a power dynamic situation, because she's coming in as a VA already. Founders are going to have their defenses up really, really high, and they're not going to want to be sold to. And on top of that, they're not going to see Ajeyhia as an expert, even an equal partner. And as a result, she's going to come across very defensive, probably very bitchy people. And these are strangers that she's never met. So she's got to be very careful on how she generates leads, especially if she doesn't have a personal brand established. When I asked her, have you done any work on building your personal brand? She said, yes. I'm very shocked to hear that. Okay, she said, yes. I signed on with a business coach who has helped me tremendously in the growth and development of my social media presence. However, my time with my business coach is coming to an end soon. I'm going to be really curious to see what this business coach has done for her because Ajeyhia hasn't made any money yet and she doesn't know who her target audience is very specifically. She doesn't have a website and she doesn't seem to know what she's offering to these individuals. What is this business coach actually done for her other than getting her started on Instagram? So I'm going to take a look at Ajeyhia's Instagram because she doesn't have a website. Let's meet Ajeyhia Brown. Ajeyhia, welcome to the Fairy BOSSmother show. So excited to have you today.
I'm so excited to be here.
I would love to know more about you and everything in your business. But before we do this, let's do a quick vibe check. So would you like the full-on, no sugarcoat, no BS review? Or do you want the kitty gloves on where I could go a little bit softer on you?
I want the real raw review, the raw review for sure.
Okay, Ajeyhia is going hard. Okay, I will not hold back. So, Ajeyhia, you know your business better than anyone. Tell us, what do you
Yes.
do and what is your business all about?
Yes. So my business is the Sweet Breeze Virtual Assistant LLC. I'm a virtual assistant. I work with BIPOC women coaches who run online coaching businesses, and I help them streamline their businesses and put in systems to help them grow, succeed, and just streamline their businesses more and make it more organized.
Okay, so all the things that a small business owner doesn't want to do, doesn't have
Yeah,
time to do,
right.
and it's basically keeping them distracted in their business, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Okay, what got you into this business? How did you find this business?
Well, it started way back. This is like right after I graduated high school. So I graduated high school in 2021. So this is like the summer of 2021 after I graduated. I was working just like my regular customer service jobs and like my corporate jobs and stuff that I usually work. And I've always wanted to be in business for myself, always wanted to have something for myself. And I got real into like the making money online that was going on back then. A lot of people, they were becoming digital nomads, they were starting businesses, they were getting online jobs. And initially, I wanted an online job so I could travel and be a digital nomad. But as time progressed on, getting online jobs were really hard. And just in general, me just doing internal reflection, I really just want to work for myself. I don't really want to work for other people. So then I started thinking, okay, to start a business, you have to have idea, right? You have to solve a problem. So first it started off, I wanted to be a virtual assistant for small businesses. Just didn't have to necessarily be online, just small brands in general. It started off with that, and then I kind of ran into like some small businesses. Like for example, it was this one girl who I wanted to work with her. She was a clothing brand owner. She had enough money to make money for herself, but she didn't have enough capital to basically hire someone else. And that's kind of the drawback of like small businesses
Mm.
that sell like products and items and stuff like that. They can't necessarily for someone like a virtual assistant. And it's like I had to think about it or like, okay, well, who can I help and still be in the realm of helping someone in the progression of their business, but then still advertise to a market who can afford it, right?
Yeah,
So that's how I found the world of like online coaching and
yeah.
stuff like that. And I actually worked with a business coach who was helping me with like the my brand and stuff. And she was like, well, if it's not gonna be small business owners, then who is it? And then she suggested the idea of like other coaches, like online coaches in general. So I did research on that. I liked it and I liked the idea. So I kind of went in that direction.
Okay, and how far and how deep have you gone into that process now?
I'll say that I'm in pretty deep. I don't have any clients yet, but when it comes to things like finding my ideal client who I want to work with, getting better at developing the content that I need to reach out to that specific group of people, I've done a lot in that aspect. And I've reached out to a lot of people, even though they didn't become my clients, but I've reached out to a lot of people, had a lot of different conversations about people. And from just that alone, I've learned a lot about like the different things like business coaches need, the things that they want, the things that they don't want, and things like that.
Okay, so what would you say, Ajay, is your superpower when it comes to doing things for other small business owners? The thing that you are like, I can do this with my eyes closed.
You want to know the truth? And I actually learned this from working regular jobs. I can literally learn how to do anything. There is nothing
Mm.
that I can't learn how to do. And that's something that actually led me to stop working regular jobs in the corporate world and just in the regular world. It's because people will notice like, hey, this individual, they can really learn how to do anything and they'll exploit it for their benefit. So I wanted to take that specific thing that I am good at, which is learning how to do anything and use it for my benefit. Hence why I started my business.
Okay, I will call you the Play-Doh of businesses or the chameleon or something. We'll come up with a cute name for you because your business name is called Sweet Breeze. So
Yes,
we want to make sure that whatever I call you translates with the name of the business. But it just sounds like you're very coachable, you're very moldable, you're able to
yes,
fit into an established structure so that the business owner doesn't have to spend a whole lot of time telling you what to do, teaching you what to do. You're able to say, hey, I will learn whatever you have going on in your business. I will learn as quickly as possible, implement it, and then get it done.
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So for now, you are the Play-Doh of businesses. You're scoffing at me
Okay.
when I say that. What would you call it?
I don't know, to be honest.
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know what my nickname would be.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just teasing, but I'm just thinking of how, you want to come across as someone who is moldable, someone who is flexible, someone
Right.
who is able to, I mean, working with coaches and consultants, you haven't specified what industry yet, right? But you did mention when you originally got in touch with me that you are reaching out BIPOC, the BIPOC community.
Right.
Specifically, why them?
Well, when I was thinking about it is the reason why I call name my brand Sweet Breeze is because I want people to have an easy, seamless process. I don't want people running around being stressed, being overwhelmed because it's hard to be in your creative energy and your creative flow that you need to be in for your business when you're stressed and overwhelmed.
Mm,
And that's initially why I wanted to help small brands like clothing brands and people who sell products and stuff like that. Because from when I was in high school, it's this one girl who owns a clothing brand. She has a YouTube channel. I've watched her YouTube channel for years and I picked up on little things in her videos where she would complain about like, I love my brand and stuff like that. But doing everything myself, it literally will stress her out. And
yeah.
then people are people still. So then they also have regular life problems. And it's like my brand, even though I love my brand, it stresses me out. The things in my regular everyday life, it stresses me out. And it was this one situation in particular where she talked about how a family members of her passed away. She was going through a breakup all at once, and she's just had a whole new sale going on for like these clothes that she just dropped. And she's packaging orders, and it's like everything is overwhelming. The emails, the customer service calls, the not forgetting certain things because she can't doesn't have time to look at her schedule. And it just was chaos. And it's like I would want to help someone and not have them go through those things,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
make their life easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's super time consuming because then you can't build on your business, you can't market your business, you can't chase after more clients and close more clients because you're too busy
Right.
doing the everyday thing. And it's also no other way to put it, but that kind of work is low level work for the business owners because packing up the products and the customer emails, those are things that are not making them money. It's already made them
Right.
money. So they need to work
Right.
on tasks that is going to produce more money and income, and
Right.
everything else literally can be passed on to you, right?
Right.
Anything that is keeping them busy can be passed on to you. So I'm curious to know, Ajeyhia, what got you to the point of you talking to me on the Fairy Boss Mother show today?
But what got me to the point is I want basically extra input on my business. So like I've mentioned to you before, I've been working with a business coach who's for these past, I'll say 5 months, who's been helping me within the development and the critique of my brand. And this is nothing against her. I love her. She's helped me so much, but my time with her has run up.
Mm,
Like basically we come to the end of our contract. And even though I love working with her, I don't want to move on and proceed with another contract with her
yeah.
because I feel like she has taught me everything that she knows in the way that she has done things to grow her business. But I need more information because some of the things that she's done that has worked for her, it's not working for me so much. And I want basically more input where it's like another outside force comes in, takes a look at my business, tell me what's good and what isn't good. And then I pretty much like critique and fix things from there, if that makes sense.
Okay, sounds great. So you're definitely in the right place. From everything that I've seen so far, Ajaya, it does sound like your target audience is like super broad. Even saying BIPOC, not a lot of people will identify as BIPOC. And
Right,
even then, that's a really broad category. It's got the Black, Indonesians, and whoever, like every other people under the sun. But what you
right.
are doing right now is identifying the problem that you are actually fixing for them, number one. And then number two, really dialing down on exactly what it is that you do. I know you're a chameleon, Ajay, and you do everything and you're very, bendable to whatever they need. But sometimes business owners have no clue what they actually need to delegate. And delegate is one of the most difficult tasks because it takes a lot of thinking. And a lot of the times, what a business owner really wants to delegate is lost in translation, right? Because they could say, hey, I told you to do this, but you've come across and you've done this. And now you've wasted my time and my money, and I'm not
Right.
able to use anything that you've given me, which is a common problem that I guess founders and VAs have in their relationship is that miscommunication, right? So when it comes to the way you're promoting yourself, Ajeyhia, and we're going to check your profile out in a minute, what I'm looking for is how clearly are you able to translate what you can do for them? The problem that you're specifically fixing is more than just, hey, by hiring me, you'll make more sales, more money, blah, blah, blah. It's not really that though. It's don't get distracted with busy work that can be given to someone else. And then you mentioned product. You mentioned product a few times. You mentioned clothing. But then you went and said, I'm working with coaches, consultants, experts, which are 100% service based. So I'm now thinking your heart could potentially be saying, okay, even though the coach that I'm working with is saying, you know what, focus on the online businesses and the coaches, your strength could potentially be in the product businesses, right? And there's
Right.
a really big gap with VA specifically serving product entrepreneurs, even as a virtual assistant. So imagine if those big boxes of orders doesn't go to the founder's office, it goes straight to you. There's a deadline that you have to meet to pack and ship everything ready. And then you're in charge to click the button to say order has been confirmed, confirmed, confirmed. All of that work. Imagine how many time you are saving the founder. So I'm curious to see if any of that actually translates in your current branding right now. Does
I
it?
mean,
I'll ask you straight. Does that sound like something
um,
you do? And does
like it's some so as in like is that something that I would want to do? As in like if I was to switch, I guess for example, my ideal client that I have now back to like small businesses and like have them like I package their orders from them and I do their emails and customer service and stuff like that for them instead. Is that what you're asking? Just to be clear.
just okay, so I'm thinking whether you're switching between service and product-based businesses. You
Yeah,
mentioned that you don't have any clients right now, right?
right.
So you don't have any clients right now. You're still working on building your brand, getting yourself known. You don't have a website.
Right.
You do have an Instagram, but it sounds to me like your target audience is really too wide. You're also flip-flopping between product and service, which have very different needs.
No, I use that as an example. Like that's how I
Mm.
started off first. In the beginning, when I first started my brand, I wanted to work with small businesses.
Yeah, 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 that's
After I
fine.
worked with my coach, I changed my entire brand completely to working with coaches
Okay,
specifically. And that's all my content is just really about coaches. That's on my page now. It's just
okay.
all about coaches.
All right, so let's go into your Instagram. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So we are on Ajeyhia's Instagram. It's instagram.com/sweet_breeze.va. Okay, so walk me through this.
So this is my Instagram page. I have helpful tips. I have a couple weekend vlogs, Q&As, as well as inspirational quotes as well. So this is my page. This is how my coach taught me to set up my page. So essentially, I have a hook that draws people into the video. I talk about specific topics and issues that apply to coaches and BIPOC women coaches specifically, and I pretty much work from there.
Okay.
So if you want to click on one of the videos, for example, or one of the posts,
Okay, let's go with, hey, sis, unlocking your six-figure coaching empire is within reach.
well, this video right here, this is what's called a short video. So this is basically where all of the content writing primarily is in the caption itself.
Yeah,
So
I
what you
see
do is
that.
create a hook, you draw them in, point them towards the caption, and then they read it. So you can't do it all alone. And then I go into detail. No successful coach becomes successful making six figures and up, doing it all alone by themselves. They have a team of go-getters and team-oriented experts with specialized expertise to make every area of their business come alive. So then you
Okay.
scroll
But I've
down.
noticed,
Yeah.
okay, so okay, this is great. Number one, I highly commend you for even doing videos because video reels are really, really hard. How often do you post on Instagram?
I try to post at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Okay. Okay, that's a good average. And how are your DMs set up with ManyChat or one of those automation tools?
No, it's just me. So if someone DMs me, I just answer directly myself.
Okay.
So there's no really automation tools over top of it.
Okay, cool. Let's see how you're doing with views. Okay, so your views are averaging around about 100 views. Some
Yeah.
are quite low, 35, 31.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to break you out of the 200 view jail because that's where you're stuck right now. You have less than 200 views. And
Yeah.
when did you start your Instagram?
I started my Instagram, I want to say 20, it had to be the summer of 23 or 24, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because I had just left my housekeeping job and this brand page been through a lot. So it initially was for small businesses and being a VA for small businesses. And then I changed it over to coaches from there. So I would say about the actual creation of the page itself, I'm gonna say since 2013, I've had it.
Okay. And with 52 posts, so if you average around, so I'm assuming that you have not been consistent with your Instagram until very recently because 52 posts
Right.
sounds really, really low.
Look.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. So here's the first thing that I would do. The Sweet Breeze virtual assistant, I would put your name right at the beginning,
right there.
Ajeyhia Brown. And then I
Okay.
would say, forget about your business name. Be very specific on your target audience now. So if you are targeting coaches, a virtual assistant for online coaches, like be really specific on who this page is for. And then the first line is exactly what do you do for your clients? So here you mentioned, I help BIPOC women coaches streamline their businesses and make more sales. I think you need to be a little bit more specific. You take away, now this is not going to sound as good as it is in my head, but you take away distracting work that is keeping coaches from making more sales, right? So you're not actually helping them make sales. You're just making sure that they're not busy and filling up their time with tasks that is making them zero money,
Right.
right? So you're
Right.
flipping the script a little bit.
Okay.
And I think we need more detail, Ajeyhia. So the second sentence is going to be very short. The second line could be something like, try out my, I don't know if you have any sort of like trial service or anything, but I think giving online coaches the opportunity to work with you for a trial run could
Right.
mean you're getting more leads in your business.
And do a trial period. Okay.
Do
I
a
can do
trial
that.
period, maybe I mean, you can decide on what you want to charge them, and it's not for free because nothing you're going to do is for free.
Right.
And that way, when you go to DM people, you're targeting online coaches specifically, number one. And then number two, you can tell them, hey, it looks like you can maybe ask them questions like, hey, I'll be curious to know who is running your social media marketing because I think you're doing a great job. Like always compliment them. And
Course.
then, if they respond, they can say something like, yeah, they'll give you a little bit more information. And you can go in and say, well, I'm a virtual assistant for online coaches and social media marketing takes this much time, make a number up. From my experience as a VA, if you're interested, I would love to give you a free trial to see how I might be able to work with you. I'm only offering this to a handful of clients. Would you be interested? So it's like
Right.
getting that conversation started, right?
Right.
And this is you being a little bit more direct. So you're messaging people rather than waiting for people to message you.
Yes.
But when they go to see your profile and you're talking about, the client experience and client acquisition systems and all of these other fancy tools that a lot of business owners don't have, you're
Right.
basically positioning yourself as someone who really understands these nuanced systems, showing people that you're very, I don't know what else to say, Ajay, amendable.
Yeah.
You're bendy, you're
I'll
messy.
say malleable.
All
Like
right, you're
malleable.
malleable. Okay. You're not Play-Doh, you're malleable. And you
Yeah.
are able to fit into the current system that they have put together. Now, here's the other thing. We want to make sure that you don't undervalue yourself in terms of how you position yourself to these clients.
Right.
Because a lot of VAs, now you can tell me if this has been your experience or not, but when
Yeah.
it comes to CEOs, founders, people who started their own businesses, and when it comes to VAs, the VAs are kind of put below them,
Yeah.
not on the same level or even above.
To be completely honest, I've experienced that a lot. So the way that I have been reaching out to clients is via organic lead gen. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll go, for example, I'll go onto like somebody who's my ideal client's profile, click them, I'll follow them, and I'll basically go under like, the suggested followers, and then anybody else that matches my ideal client, I'll follow them also, and pretty much just basically going down a rabbit hole from
Mm.
there. What I've noticed is that when people follow me back and I DM them and I introduce myself, I say, hey, how are you? Thanks for the follow. I love your page and everything like that. And I get into asking questions about like when did you start your business? What got you into coaching? Things like that. They'll sometimes be a little bit like, oh, I don't, I've been a coach for X amount of years. I've been doing this for a long time, and basically in a polite way saying it without saying it, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And anything else you have to say is not above my knowledge of what I know for myself. And the reason why I wanted to work with BIPOC women specifically is because I know amongst Black and Brown women, we have a habit of I could do it all with no help mentality. And we suffer the most mentally, not just in our working lives, but as business owners as well, which is going back to the initial when I was talking to about the YouTuber I follow. I followed her since high school. She was in the high school at the same time as me when she started her business.
Mm.
I watched her on YouTube grow her entire business from packaging, marketing, everything. But one thing that she never did, which is what I noticed that business owners in general never do, she never asked for additional assistance or help.
Yep.
She just did everything primarily herself. And then she would have these moments where she would go into these long depression spells where she would basically end up not doing anything at all because she needed help, but she never asked for help. She would just do everything alone. And that's something that what I notice on Instagram specifically is that coaches have a habit of they want to be, I can do it all, no help. I know what I'm doing. I can handle everything. I can handle clients as well as emails, scheduling, collecting data and information for my analytics. I can do it all myself. And then wonder why it's still behind the scenes, it's still pitfalls within their business. But they try to make it basically not seem that way
Yeah.
until you
So
see it.
you mentioned a really critical point, right? So rather
Right,
than on your Instagram profile saying that I help BIPOC women, your content should be directly to those BIPOC women.
right,
So imagine them in your mind when you're creating these content. Think about that one person you just talked to me about. That imagine your content is only for her.
right,
Those are the kind of clients that you want flooded in your inbox, coming
right,
to you. This is how you become an expert in your field because you are only working with women like her with these
right,
problems. And the more you talk about the problems, right? So my analogy is you're putting salt in the wound, right?
right,
You're putting salt in the wound. You know exactly what their problem is. They want to seem like, they do everything themselves. But Ajeyhia, doing everything yourself leads to burnout, mental breakdown,
right,
and then periods of like, I don't want to get out of bed because this is overwhelming and I'm stressed the
right,
hell out and
right,
I have my kids to feed and bills to pay. And then what are they going
right,
to do? Right. So you want to help them not ever get to that position.
right, exactly.
That's why they don't need a VA, Ajeyhia. They need a partner in their business. So you want to elevate yourself from just being called a VA to a business manager or a business partner or something, right?
Right.
Because I think a virtual assistant, just by the very nature of just being called a virtual assistant, you're undervaluing your very own value.
And and actually it's interesting that you said that because I thought about it because it's like virtual assistant, like remember I was making content one day and it says VA virtual assistant. People hear that assistant
Mm-hmm.
portion really hard. They only hear assistant.
Yep.
Where I've DM'd women before and be like, sometimes they don't even let me talk all that much. They'll just be like, oh, I already have a VA or I already have an assistant. And I was like, I didn't really ask or say anything. I was just saying hello at the beginning. I just said hello. For like, oh, I have enough assistants. I have plenty of assistants. I don't need an assistant. They'll just pretty much get automatically like, oh, assistant, someone to help serve me.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yes. And we need to change that narrative. You are
Right,
not serving them.
right,
You are a critical part to their business growth because without you, they will not get out of bed because they're stupidly overwhelmed, right?
right,
Right.
right,
You could be that catalyst of do you want to get out of bed knowing that you are working on things that are gonna make you more dollars?
right,
Or do you want to be that entrepreneur or business owner who is dreading going into their home office because
right,
they've got so much crappy admin work to do?
right,
Right? Ajeyhia Brown, there she is. Right? That's
right.
yeah. So your narrative needs to change a little bit just by looking on Instagram. And here's the other thing that we can do to really like elevate your status. It's being more intentional about their problems and how you fix those problems. So one of the things we talked about was, so a lot of the work that you'll be doing for these business owners is they will be delegating tasks to you.
Right.
Your content should be talking about how do I make this easier for them? So it's almost like having a content pillar in Instagram. One of the content pillars could be dedicated 100% to just delegation. Here are 2 ways you can delegate your, email marketing to your business partner or your whatever that new name is going to be.
Right.
Great content just about delegation, because business owners are awful at delegating. And that's where you come across those strong, powerful Black women saying, I could do it all, because they don't know how to delegate.
Right.
That is a skill that you could be training your small business owners, right?
And that's honestly what I want to do, because what I've noticed is that because of people always wanting to hold on and not let go, I've been coming across a lot of people that have not wanted to let go. Like, for example, I had a discovery call with this young lady. She wants her business. She wanted her coaching program to be for women who are 40 plus that are trying to transition into different new areas in life and basically try new things. But any of the things that I noticed on her page and the things that she told me and the problems that she was having with her business, she did not want to delegate those things. She did not want to delegate her schedule. She did not want to delegate her calendar, which she desperately needed help with.
Yeah.
And she did not want me to make email campaigns for her. She just wanted someone to answer emails and DMs and edit like content on her page. That's it.
So it's a
Which is
power
like,
struggle.
yeah,
You're experiencing a power struggle between the founders and yourself, right? It's because they're not able to relinquish that control. Do you know why?
right,
Because they don't trust you, right? They don't trust you.
true,
So again, in your business, so you're a business owner yourself, Ajeyhia. You're not a VA.
right,
You are a business owner yourself. Now imagine we were able to clone Ajeyhia, right? Ajeyhia, business owner, because
right,
you are a business owner. Ajeyhia, VA, right?
right,
You hired VA Ajeyhia, and now you're thinking, right, what the hell do I give to her? What do I give? What task do I give her? First problem.
right,
How do I translate all the crap that's going in my head to Ajeyhia in a way that she will understand what's happening here? Because you're not a mind reader. Problem number two,
right,
how do I make sure that she gets the things that I need done at my standard? Problem number three, if she messes up, do I fire her or do I give her another chance? Problem number four, because you're seen as expendable, so you can easily be
yeah,
replaced, right?
right,
Final problem, if I like everything that she does, how long can I afford to keep a hold of her? Problem number five. Ajeyhia,
right,
if you are able to answer all of these questions for yourself as a business owner, you're able to translate all of those problems for your clients too. That's what's missing on your Instagram, just by looking at it for like a minute.
okay,
Right. I'm
okay.
saying all of this stuff. How are you feeling? What is your feedback?
Honestly, I'm just taking it in. Like, I want to know, because my thing is that content has always been a real struggle for me. And this is a struggle that I have even with the business coach that I was just working with, is that figuring out how can I communicate things in a way to get people to understand what I do, how I can help them, and how can I basically essentially make their life easier. Because that's the thing, key factor in my business that I want to do and what I want to provide to my clients. I want to make your life easier. I don't want to overcomplicate your life. I want to make the whole process for the both of us seamless and easy, so then you could walk away stress-free and I could walk away stress-free knowing that I helped you walk away stress-free.
Yeah.
And how can I basically take all of those things that you essentially said and translate them onto my Instagram in content form where I'm talking to them and getting really them in with that? I'm not really sure.
Yeah. And here's another thing. If Instagram goes down tomorrow and you know this has happened in the past, because you're relying and you're putting all of your basket on one platform that you have zero control over. So I would love to ask you, Ajeyhia, why don't you have a website?
Well, I initially actually was going to make a website, but my business coach is the one who told me that you don't need a website. When she started off, because she was a VA first, she became a VA and then she became a business coach. She said when she was a virtual assistant for the 4 years she was a virtual assistant, she said she never had a website. She would pretty much go on multiple different platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. She would reach out to people via there and she would just talk to people and they would become her clients.
Yeah.
And I do have I just recently did start posting on multiple platforms. I post on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn and TikTok now. But it's just the reaching out to people and then pretty much those two main issues that I'm having: reaching out to people, knowing what people to reach out to, exactly where they are, and finding a better way to like do organic lead gen. That's number one. And number two, making better content that translate the message that I want to translate.
And do you know what? You are doing the hardest piece of work right now by doing outreach. So again, congratulations on doing that, because a lot of small business owners, the parts that you are doing, that's the part that they are stuck on. So it's almost like you flipped it. You're doing the hardest part first and then doing the rest, which is fine.
Right.
But think of your website as like your house. Right now, you are a digital nomad, because you are, hopping between TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram. And if anyone was to look for you, because remember, you're an expert now Ajeyhia, you are not a VA. You are an expert in delegation tasks.
Right.
Okay. You are an expert. So we need to treat you like an expert. When you look up, if you want to hire somebody for anything, the first thing people do is Google you and saying, hey, do you have a website? And your website is your portfolio. This is where you show your systems. This is how you show off, the different ways that you work with people, how malleable you are, how, your personality comes across. Your content is your marketing outreach, kind of like the roads to your house, because you have a nice house, but now people need to know how to get into your house. You've
Right.
essentially built the roads, but you're sending them nowhere. And that's gonna cause a lot of problems down the line, because when you go to make up your prices, a client will probably think, you know what, I don't think she's worth that much. I'm going to lowball her and I'm going to try to get as much out of her with getting away with paying you what you deserve, right? We don't want you in that position.
Okay, I understand. I mean, I'm really just taking it in. Like, that makes sense. This is just what my business coach told me.
Mm,
She said that she never had a website and she had tons of clients. But then my problem is that, and this is also, again, it's nothing against her. I love her. I love working with her. She's more of like one of those kind of learn things as you go along type of coach, where she'll let you experience things
yeah.
and then she'll help you either before or after what you've experienced and then critique you from there. For like example, I had one discovery call, one horrible. I mean, it went really bad. The lady, what I usually do for my clients, I build custom packages for her.
Mm,
This was like my third discovery call. She kind of towards the end got really irritated because she wanted me to have a price point for her right then and there so she can compare prices for the other VAs that she was looking for and talking to. And it's like, well, what I do is I create custom packages for you. Then I'll share that custom package for you. And then you tell me what you do like, what you don't like about it, and what we could agree on a price from there.
oh, but
I
Ajeyhia,
was
that's taking so much time doing a free proposal for somebody.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess so. This is what I was taught to do because I had no clue before. Because before
Mm,
I didn't really know much of anything how to reach out to people.
yeah.
So that's just the structure that I was taught initially. She didn't have a problem with me creating a custom package. She just wanted like as soon as possible, which it takes me about a day or two to make a custom
It's too
package.
long. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, so when you have a personal brand, Ajeyhia, number one, you are known as the expert in your field,
right.
right? If that's the space of the VA world, and I don't even want to call you a VA. I think you do a lot more than just a virtual assistant, because as we discussed, just being called a virtual assistant, you're lowering your status, you're underselling
Right.
yourself, you're already being compared to every other VA potentially in the Asian continent. That's your competition. Every
Yeah,
other VA in Asia, and they're constantly going to lowball you constantly. There's like, you can't even undercut them because you can't make a living in America
right.
on their wages. So
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to elevate your status. And when you build your personal brand, number one, your content is very intentional. It's going to be intentional to that one woman that you discussed earlier. Your content is for women like her. Then, Ajeyhia, your website is your HQ. And this is going to be the portfolio. This is going to be your, hey, you know what? I don't do custom. You work with me like this, like this, like this. And within
right,
this package, I am malleable, right?
right.
You have to create a structure where your clients can be like, I fit on square one, two, or three. Price is fixed. It does not matter how much things they're squeezing into this package.
Yeah,
It's fixed, right? If they
right,
do anything outside of the scope of that, that's called an add-on, baby. And then that's how you make more money.
right.
Right. Next, your Instagram is great, right? I love the fact that you started to do those reels, but it's not hitting. I mean, you've got the hooks, great. You've got the, DM, the keyword, great. The foundational pieces on your Instagram, perfect. But
Right.
something's not working is because you're not talking to a specific audience. And I don't think you're hitting that problem. People want to know how you can fix their share, and you're not fixing it right now. The only time you give anything away for free is Instagram and your social media. Your discovery call, it's them saying, hey, you know what? You hit upon a really big problem that I have. I want to know how you can fix it. And this is when you present, right, easy. Let me show you my website. I'm going to walk you through what I can do for you. Remember, you're an expert, so you have a case study ready. And then you give them the show and tell. You don't negotiate the price. It's right there for them to see. They will not ask you, how much do you cost? Can you give me a
Yeah,
discount? Because it's right there in
right.
your face. It's embarrassing to ask that. I want to put you in a position of power where you are seen as the expert. People respect the heck out of you, Ajeyhia, and they're ready to work with you when they say, you know what? I am going to DM this keyword, or I do want a discovery call. Maybe discovery call is not the right thing for you. Because again, you're going to be in the danger of giving too much away for free. And
Right,
again, lowering your status to them because they don't see you as equal.
right.
Gotta level you up, girl.
And and it's really, I'm just kind of taking it in because like, wow, I really do want to level up. I want to do go to the next level in my business. It's just, I guess I'm just figuring it out how
Hmm.
I could do that. And I appreciate this call because it gave me a lot of insight. That's what I wanted initially. I just want extra insight
Mm.
outside of the one that I've initially been given so far.
Okay, so let's think really big, Ajeyhia, right? Imagine you have an influx of clients coming in without you working 80 hours. Again, never want you working more than full time because you're an
Yeah,
entrepreneur. You should
yeah.
have control over your time. So let's assume you have unlimited budget. Like money is not even a question in your business. What are your big goals for your business and for yourself?
My big goals for my business and for myself is I want to grow my business. I want to, well, one, make better content to reach out to
Mm,
an ideal client. I want to invest in possibly even marketing as well. Invest people like my platform being marketed. I want to grow, even expand my business into even possibly selling like custom digital products, but instead of like reselling products that I made to help my ideal client that I want to reach out to. And my personal goal is to be a digital nomad because that's what I originally wanted from the beginning with. I want to
okay.
be able to be on my laptop, work from my laptop, help the people that I want to help, and travel anywhere that I want to go
Okay.
and just go.
The first part that you said about, growing your business, scaling, marketing, being really great in content, you could do that today. That's not big enough for me, right? You can literally do that today. If you decided, you know what, I'm clearing my calendar, I'm going to create those digital products. It's you building a system in your business. I want you to think even bigger, right? You mentioned digital nomad a few times. Why is that so important to you?
A little girl, I've always wanted to travel around the world. I always wanted to go. I've only ever learned about three countries, and it sounds weird to say, but it's true. As a little kid, I only knew like maybe Canada, Jamaica, and America. I have family in Jamaica. I'm from America, and I have some family in Canada. So I've only ever heard about those three, but I've only left the outside of the country once
Mm,
my entire life up until recently, until I became an adult. And it's just, I don't know. I'm a learning person. I love to learn. I love to experience new things. That's just who I've always been. So going around and learning about different cultures, seeing different places, that's just to me like an ideal life.
mm,
It's adventurous, it's fun. That's how I really want to live my life.
yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Okay, what is the, number one place in the world you want to go to?
Right now, the one number one place I really want to go to is Brazil. I want to go
Brazil.
there.
Okay. How soon can you go to Brazil, Jaya?
I was thinking, I'm not going to say I was thinking, I was planning before the reciprocity that they have in place goes through. I wanted to go before April. I wanted to go before April, being honest. The latest that I wanted to go is like January, just to give me time to fill out like visa requirements and stuff like that.
Okay, so April is around the corner from the time of
Yeah,
recording.
yeah.
Now what?
I gotta make something shake. I
Okay,
gotta,
Ajaya, put a date in the diary. When do you want to go to Brazil?
I want to say May 25th.
Right.
May 20.
You got 2 months to make money in your
Yeah,
business, right? If you were to implement everything that I mentioned, you're able to make that money to go to Brazil, maybe even then some. So I
right.
would love to show you strategies on how I could get that done for you after this call,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, I want to see it.
But with everything that I mentioned, so we're wrapping up very quickly. Ajay, it was so great to talk to you. And I'm like amped up. I'm like, oh my God, I want to dig into your brand so badly right now. Now, if there was, with everything that I've mentioned, what can you work on today?
What I can work on today is I want to say content. I guess I could work on making better content and really like talking to that client, like basically having that avatar that you initially said at the call, taking that ideal client that I have in my mind and really translating it on screen for people to see, for people to be like, wow, that's me. That is me. That is Udo. That right there, that hit me in my soul. Like, I need help. And
Yeah.
then that facade and that like wall can come down and they could reach out to me and I could be like, hey, or they be like, hey, I saw your video. These are the pain points that really hit me hard. How can you help me? And I can help them.
Yeah, exactly. I think work on that right now because you've already got Instagram up and running and you're doing great with that. Start hitting on those pain points because the deeper you go, the more you're able to elbow drop on that pain, the more people are going to start to listen to you and say, okay, I've been looking for help for a while. They might not admit it, but you might actually give them an opportunity to say, damn, Jaya, everything that you mentioned is everything I've been thinking about, but I'm trying to be a strong, independent woman. I'm not saying anything out loud, but I know I need help. You want to get them to that position to say, I need help. You made me see that I need help. Help me, girl, right? This is how you get customers who are ready to buy from you. Okay, so focus on that. All right. Do you feel confident in like building and implementing some of those changes on your own, or do you feel like you might need some expert help to get some of those things implemented for you?
I want to try on my own. I want to implement the changes on my own. If I see something I don't understand or I need help with something myself and I can't really like translate it correctly, then yeah, I would want expertise.
Awesome. And one last question, Ajay, before we wrap up. Well, actually two. What did you learn from the Fairy Boss Mother today?
Oh my God, I learned a lot. I learned that not speaking to my ideal client the way I'm supposed to. I don't have a website, which that looks really bad. I marketing on multiple different platforms, but I'm not sending them anywhere specific so that they don't really know what's happening. And I just need to elevate myself within my business to elevate above the assistant title and be more than an assistant to bring more value to my business.
Absolutely. The Sweet Breeze VA, I think you need to drop that VA because you are going to be undersold a lot and people are going to have the wrong impression of you. So elevate that, drop that VA. If you want to call yourself Sweet Breeze Delegation or something else that is a high level task, delegation is definitely a high level task that small business owners absolutely suck at doing.
Yeah. So maybe something like, I don't know, delegation expert. I see a lot of experts as well when I'm like going through profiles. You'll see be like consulting expert. I'll see like financial expert, things like that. I don't know, maybe delegation expert. I'll think about it.
Yeah, I think delegation expert is a title, yes, but you might have to check on Instagram to see if the handle's taken or not because it's too vague. But remember who you're talking to, okay? You're talking to all of these other queens of their business and the bosses. So you want to make sure that you are elevating yourself to their level. You're also speaking their language, but in a way that still sounds and feels like Ajeyhia. You're not mimicking them. You're still you. So any words and terms that you use, think of how you talk to your best friend, right? What kind of words do you use without it being like too crass? Translate that onto your content. You're talking to your best friend who is a business owner, absolutely sucks at delegation because they think that they can do it all, which is BS. We know that they can't. We're here to help them, make them better so that they can focus on sales and high level tasks. You literally do everything else in the business. Partnership.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, Ajeyhia, I hope you had a good time at the Fairy Boss Mother show. It sounds like you've got a lot of work to do, but check in with me. I would love to see how you do in the next few months. And Brazil, put that in the forefront on your calendar. If you don't write it down, it doesn't happen. So write it down in your calendar. That's your first task. I want to go to Brazil and I'm going to make it happen. And then the next 2 months, I'm going to get those clients. So that ticket is mine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Shake.
All right.
Awesome, Ajay. It was lovely talking to you and
it was nice talking to you.
All the best with everything.
Right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy Boss Mother Show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.